Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 2025 Good Neighbor Awards. And without further ado, here's your host, Brittany Sweeney.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 2025 Good Neighbor Awards here at our home, the Univest Public Media Center on the Steel Stacks campus. Doesn't it look absolutely beautiful tonight? Thank you all so much for being here. Each year, in the spirit of Fred Rogers, we gather to recognize the neighbors among us who quietly, consistently, and compassionately make the Lehigh Valley a better place to live, work, and grow. These are the everyday heroes who bring out the best in our communities, not for recognition, but because they care. Tonight, we're proud to honor 4 incredible recipients: Eileen Wood, Darian and Yolanda Colbert, and Judy Harris, each of whom represents the true heart of what it means to be a good neighbor. We also have some exciting updates to share with you this evening, including a look at our strategic direction for the future and a special preview of our celebration of the 50 years of Scholastic Scrimmage. But first, please turn your attention to our screen to learn more about our mission here at Lehigh Valley Public Media.
Lehigh Valley Public Media is LehighValleyNews.com, PBS 39, and 91.3 WLVR.
Hello and welcome to the final of the 50th season of Scholastic Scrimmage.
Welcome to our community conversation.
Hola, and welcome to Estoy Aquí, Lehigh Valley Latino Roots.
This is Insights with LehighValleyNews.com on WLVR.
I'm joined here in our studio by astronaut Terry Hart.
This is Lehigh Valley Political Pulse. We're joined by Bob Donchez, Celeste D. We're joined by Lehigh County Executive Phil Armstrong to get insights into municipal government. Tonight, we present the 2025 Lehigh County Executive Debate, Allentown Mayoral Debate. The 2025 Northampton County Executive Debate, the Bethlehem Mayoral Debate, is coming to you live from the Univest Public Media Center in Bethlehem.
We currently have 5 locations, and the Book Nooks are actually at all of our locations.
My Neighbor Day is always the prime event. We're welcoming over 700 people into our building this year.
We come and bring all the tools that the parents need to prepare these kids. I think we have a great partner with the PBS 39.
Thank you to everyone. Yes. Thank you to everyone who has supported tonight's celebration and who continues to support public media in our region. Your contributions help power our initiatives like Book Nooks that you just saw, career readiness with good news tours at PBS 39, community conversations, and so much more. We especially want to thank our presenting sponsors whose generosity makes this event and so much more possible. Thank you to Cross America Partners, Lehigh University, Univest Financial, and Joseph and Karen Walton. And we're grateful to have some of our elected officials with us tonight, including Phil Armstrong and our mayors from Allentown, Bethlehem, and Easton. Thank you all so much for joining us and for being here. Tonight is also an open house, so after our program, you'll be invited to explore our studio and learn about the many stories, services, and partnerships that start right here in this building. And of course, none of this evening would be complete without a toast. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. So thank you to our cocktail reception sponsor, Norris McLaughlin, PA. We hope you enjoy your sparkling Campari Punch, the official drink of the night. Now, let's begin with our first honoree. She's an accomplished designer and author, committed to making the Lehigh Valley a destination and a thriving artistic environment. Her service on numerous charitable boards and committees is matched only by her extensive designer handbags.
One of the aspects of being a good neighbor to me is one of the major tenets of Judaism is a term called tikkun olam, which means repairing the world. And I always feel that if I can do something to help to improve a situation, both on levels large and small, individuals, organizations, but wherever I can lend a hand or provide my help, that's something that's very, very important to me.
Eileen Wood is warm, fun, interesting, loyal, dedicated. I mean, she's a wonderful person.
I think Eileen is an intelligent, creative, innovative, and fun-loving individual that people enjoy being around. And I think people seek out her company.
When I came to the Valley, I married Bob Wood, who was very well known throughout the community and known for his philanthropy and his family's tradition of philanthropy. And when he and I were together, he taught me that it wasn't simply writing a check to help others, but you should actually roll up your sleeves and dig in.
My first impression of Eileen is, that's a talented woman.
Most people will probably know me through my handbag collection, which was on display at the Kemmerer Museum and the Moravian Museum and America on Wheels. And this was an effort in support of Historic Bethlehem becoming a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
The exhibition was the largest personal collection we have ever exhibited here at Historic Bethlehem. To this day, people will come and ask about the personality exhibit.
I felt that bags were very impactful cultural artifacts, and they tell stories about who we are and where we have come from.
I had the opportunity to see a portion of her collection. It was as interesting and diverse as Eileen is, and I love that about her. It actually reminds me of the way that she shows up in community. She is someone who likes a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and I think that her collection reflects that.
The Lehigh Valley provides a community that is caring and involved.
I'd like to welcome our students from the L System of Lehigh Valley, New York.
One of the most significant community involvements that I have had has been with the Allentown Symphony and the El Sistema program. El Sistema is a musical educational program out of Caracas, Venezuela, which has a transformational impact on children's lives.
A good neighbor is someone that you can count on. A good neighbor is someone that you want to spend time with. A good neighbor is someone you're happy to share things with. And to me, Eileen Wood embodies all of those things.
She does good work for others without ever seeking recognition. And I think she's masterful at bringing multiple nonprofits together to eliminate duplicity and create greater impact in the community.
My definition of a good neighbor is somebody who believes in giving back to their community, to their friends, to their family, to strangers, and to their fellow man at large.
Just a wonderful tribute. And to present the award to Eileen, please welcome Jerry Zimmerman, Executive Director of the Jewish Federation of the Lehigh Valley.
Thank you and good evening. Congratulations to all of the award recipients this evening. It is my great privilege to present this year's Good Neighbor Award to someone whose name has become truly synonymous with generosity, advocacy, and community spirit, Eileen Wood. It certainly is a beautiful day in this neighborhood. Eileen's dedication, vision, and compassion, not to mention her personal style, have touched nearly every corner of our community. It is especially meaningful to represent the Jewish Federation and to present this award to her. We are an organization Eileen has supported with deep commitment as a board member over many years. Her impact spans an extraordinary range, from the arts and education to health and human services. Through her work with the Jewish Federation and many other institutions, Eileen brings more than just resources. She brings energy, advocacy, and a profound dedication to uplifting those most in need, both locally and around the world. But what stands out most is her belief in people. Eileen empowers others, from young artists to emerging leaders, always looking to elevate voices and to create opportunity. She invests in the future of our community by believing in its potential. Eileen chooses to live in the Lehigh Valley, not just as a home, but as a place to nurture and inspire, and it serves as her canvas, her cause, her community. That in itself speaks volumes, and we are fortunate to know Eileen as a good, not just good, a wonderful neighbor. Eileen, on behalf of the Jewish Federation and all of us here, thank you for your remarkable leadership and heart, and your unwavering belief in the power of community. Please join me in celebrating Eileen Wood.
Thank you very much. Firstly, thank everyone here for your caring and your caring about this community, because we're all in this together. So one of the things I would like to do is I'd like to thank the people that put me in this situation, that placed me here and enabled me to do what I do. And that is my parents and my first husband, Erwin Hochberg, and my second husband, Bob Wood, and my present partner, Ray Starner. So I think thank you. These are the people that taught me through their example how to be a good neighbor, how to give back, how to be supportive. And if you like anything about anything I've accomplished, please thank them, because they are the ones truly responsible. Thank you very much for being here tonight, and I hope you have a wonderful evening.
One more big congratulations for Eileen Wood. And our mission is to engage everyone in our community through our public media resources to create a vibrant community that is connected, informed, inspired, and engaged. As we move towards the future here at Lehigh Valley Public Media, we are honing how to achieve that mission. We will continue to be a trusted place where people can find everything local: news, information, events, and education, all in one spot. We will give our neighbors a personalized, multi-platform mix of digital access and real-life community interaction, making it easy for everyone to stay informed and connected. And a great example of that is our Telebears Cub Club. Thanks to our generous supports of Lehigh Valley Riley Children's Hospital, that program will continue to get bigger and better as the year goes on. Here's more from some of our department heads about what we're doing to achieve all of that.
We need to be right where the families are, where the educational leaders in the community are telling us they need support and they want us to be.
We are here to capture the stories of Lehigh Valley, tell the stories of Lehigh Valley, amplify the vision of the Lehigh Valley, and be a community hub where people can come together, tell their stories, come for the screening, have an event, have a panel discussion.
We connect with the community in many different ways, aside from simply being a website and a community gathering space digitally. We're also a community gathering space physically here in South Bethlehem.
Everything that we do that's forward-facing is an opportunity to bring people together. So we're looking to do more opportunities to bring different demographics together, people who may agree, people who may not agree, all into one space, whether that's a virtual space or if it's in our studios or if it's at an event that we're holding outside of our building.
We look forward to engaging with the community in areas that they have expressed a need for.
We help the community by highlighting those doing good in the community and amplifying the messages of other nonprofits and capturing history and capturing the stories of this amazing Lehigh Valley.
Doing big things here at Lehigh Valley Public Media, and we have some of our leaders here right now to chat about some of those things we're doing. We have our interim CEO, Lax Srinivasan, and our board president, Mike Keim. Thank you both so much for joining us for this conversation. Lehigh Valley Public Media is moving forward with a new strategic direction, and so to form that new strategic direction, Lax, the company conducted a community survey to look at what is needed, the people that we serve, how can we serve them better in this area, and so what did you find from that survey?
Yeah, we went out and did a systematic study and surveyed about 500 people from the community, the greater Lehigh Valley. And what we found, what the survey revealed is five distinct segments with different needs, with two groups outstanding. One is standing out. One is the kind of, my wife told me not to use this term, but older adults, there's no other way to say it, that prioritize science, health, and local news. And the other group that are younger, that prioritize local news and events through social media, right? And what I say is one group sees things like this and like this. The new group wants it like this. So that's what that's a big distinction that is there, and we had 81 questions that were sent out, and each questions these 500 people had to rate. What overwhelmingly came out is people want local news information, which we do already, but what really stood out is they wanted much more integrated. They don't want TV, radio, digital news. It's more when I want, where I want, and how it all comes together. So that is the biggest kind of like, we have to tailor the online and offline experiences much more integrated in the way where they want, when they want. That's the biggest unmet need. It's not that different from we're all used to seeing Netflix and everything else. I think public media needs to get to those individualized experiences.
Sure. Mike, how does the board expect to and will move forward with supporting this plan? How do we move forward?
Yeah, so the first thing I want to do is thank Lax for his efforts in leading the board to get to the strategic direction. He did a great amount of work, and the board is fully coalesced around what we're trying to do, which is hyper-local. So as a board, what we need to do is make sure that we're out consistency of message in the community. We're going to have to assist in fundraising. And then we have to make sure that the staff have all the resources needed to make sure that we can pull this off. With the number one thing being to make sure we make a very positive and continued impact on the Lehigh Valley.
Sure, and Lax, what are some of the tools that we have at our disposal to do so?
Yeah, as I mentioned, what we heard the unmet needs are, it's still local news, it's about information, it's about events, things that we do already. The way to move forward is we have to figure out the how. Again, what that means is how do we do this in an integrated digital access when they want, where they want. To me, the second, what that means is what we have to do is we have to start innovating, experimenting. We have to get good at how do we get the unmet needs, not a one-time study we do every 5 years. We live in the digital world of social media, so how do we get bi-directional? That means how do we get that feedback from the community? What do they want? Where are the unmet needs on a continuous basis? And then the third is we can do it all, right? It doesn't matter, even as Jeff Bezos writes us checks, we just can't do it all. That means you're going to see us partner more. and whether it's local nonprofit organizations, local media organizations, local universities. And so it's a matter of how do we do what we do, but be a force multiplier. I think I saw Halvi on the video say we're going to amplify messages. We have the biggest kind of bullhorn. We have all the different channels, TV, radio, digital news, social media. So how do we leverage that for the community? So those are it's the same things that we have, but how do we do this in a much more personalized way? We do have to build on what we have, but we also have to build some new capabilities, like digital, like personalization, so you're going to see us doing that more and more. So we're going to ask you for your support. We can't do this without you. At the end of the day, we are here because of the community. So we have to, for us to be relevant, we have to do all the things we have been doing, but we have to do this much more tailored and personalized.
Wonderful. And Lax, you've been wonderful as our interim CEO, but the key word there, interim. And so Mike, I turn it over to you. With this new direction, is there new leadership in the works, and what does that look like?
We're close. So yes, we'll take the interim tag off of Lax and let him return back to the board. And no, we're not making Lax the CEO, if that's where you thought I was going. But no, we had a fairly robust CEO selection committee that interviewed a number of candidates, and we're narrowing into the final and looking forward to it. And what we sought out in this was somebody who has a passion for what we do and our mission in the community. Somebody who could rally the staff around what we're trying to do, what we need to do on a tactical basis, on a day in, day out basis, and then execute that mission so that we add value to the community. And I would underscore what Lax said. What is critical is that we do what the community is looking for us to do, and we provide that value that they're looking for. And we can't get lost doing what we think is right, but that's not a connection to the community. So the content that we can create, the content that we can help create by others, and how we use our distribution networks, digital, broadcast, and most importantly, events like this would bring people in person and have people actually interact as a community. So that, we think we have found that in a CEO candidate, and we look forward to announcing that in the near future.
Sure, wonderful.
If I could just put a plug in, I don't know if many of the community know the board is all volunteers, so I also want to thank the board. In the process that we have gone through, we set new strategic direction. It kind of looks like what we have been doing. It's more in the how that's going to be different. And so we went through a rigorous exercise, and I was able to do what we were able to accomplish because every single board member was there when I needed them with a day's notice, an hour's notice. They're all volunteers, and they're all here because we care about the community. We are just like every one of you, and we just do this passionately for the community. So I want to thank the board for that. And of course, none of this would be possible without the staff who come and show up every day. December 31st night, we were all here doing what they do for us. So I really want to do that. So we're really here for the community. So it's really wonderful. Thank you for the opportunity.
Wonderful. We thank you, gentlemen. Thank you so much for those words. And we're going to hear more on that mission in just a little bit from our community partners. But in the meantime, later this evening during our open house, we invite you to join some of those board members we just spoke about, Louis Campos and Christopher Walfel, for an Ask Me Anything session. They volunteered for this. You can ask them anything. It'll be in the newsroom. It's beginning at 7:15, so please feel free to head into our newsroom, ask them anything. Make sure that you don't miss that. All right, next we'll take a look inside a day in the life of our reporters at LehighValleyNews.com. We're proud to work closely with Lehigh University, and to introduce this next segment, please welcome Lehigh's Provost, Nathan Urban, who will share a few words.
So as neighbors in South Bethlehem, Lehigh University and the Lehigh Valley Public Media are committed to being good neighbors and forces for community development and improvement. We at Lehigh believe that access to quality higher education is critical for Lehigh Valley residents and families, which is why we've done things like increase the number of half tuition or greater scholarships that are offered to Lehigh Valley high school students more than threefold since 2022. All told, we have offered this year 92 half or greater tuition scholarships to Lehigh Valley students over the last 3 years, and we've enrolled 29 of those very talented students. Just in terms of students enrolled this year, 100 Lehigh Valley students are coming to Lehigh, up from 77 last year. And if the Lehigh Valley were a state, it would be the 4th largest state, sending state of students to Lehigh. It would be just ahead of California, which is just under 100. We also believe in being good neighbors to the companies that are in the Lehigh Valley by attracting talented students from across the country and across the world. Over the last few years, only about 6% of Lehigh's undergraduate students have come from the Lehigh Valley, although we would like that to be more. But 16% of our graduates are in the Lehigh Valley for their first job or for graduate school 6 months after they graduate. So we are seeking to attract that talent, which is so critical to the economic development of the region. We're also finalizing an economic impact report, which will show that Lehigh accounts for and contributes to about 2% of the total economic activity in the region. At Lehigh, our journalism and communication departments works very closely with the journalists here at Lehigh Valley Public Media. We supply interns to LehighValleyNews.com and are coming off one of the most impactful years ever, with our students contributing to the coverage of the 2024 presidential election, as well as plans to celebrate our nation's 250th birthday. LehighValleyNews.com is in its 3rd year as the region's only nonprofit newsroom, as a vital source of local news that has become a leader for its reach and impact. So let's now take a look at some of the professional journalists that are bringing us the stories of the Lehigh Valley day in and day out.
As far as being a reporter, I really love that I get to meet different people and that I get to talk to them and have heart-to-heart conversations. I'm Micaela Hood. I'm the arts and culture reporter with LehighValleyNews.com. Today I'm here at the Pennsylvania Youth Arts Theater. We are here in a church in Bethlehem that is their new home. I try to bring the readers and viewers the best news on performing arts, music, and also culture, with a strong emphasis on the Latino community. The Latino community matters to me because my mother, Maya, her family, somos colombianos. And I know that there's a diverse population in the Lehigh Valley, and I really enjoy showcasing that as a Latina myself. Something about the arts and culture in the Lehigh Valley is that it's always changing for me. I think I might know it all, and then I'll talk to someone and they'll tell me something that's really interesting about what's going on, and I get really excited all over again.
My job is a lot of prioritizing what's most important to readers. I'm Jason Addy, and I'm the Allentown reporter for LehighValleyNews.com. I cover a lot of municipal meetings, whether that's city council, zoning, planning. I think when I started 2 years ago, people immediately were like, wow, it's great to have someone here again every day. So after a meeting, I usually race out of City Hall, and I hope to have something pre-written, whether it's the background on a vote that they're taking. But you know, I race back to my computer, whether that's in my car, back at the office, or at home. We try to get things out as quick as possible. I kind of love that I don't know what I'm going to do every day. I'm not a guy who always has a plan or sticks to plans a lot. So it's nice knowing that I don't know what I'm going to do. It kind of helps me get up in the morning, that and coffee.
I think that helps a lot of us get up in the morning. Some of our tremendous assets to this community, and it's 100% free and accessible. So make sure you check out their work on LehighValleyNews.com. Make sure you stop by the lobby and meet a few of our reporters who will be out there this evening as well. And if you have a story idea, I know they're always looking for a story. All right, our next award goes to a couple that exemplifies unity, outreach, and collective strength. They They use Mr. Rogers Neighborhood as a founding principle for the Cohesion Network, a nonprofit rooted in Allentown's 1st and 6th wards and Franklin Park neighborhoods. It's centered on the belief that people in marginalized communities in the Lehigh Valley have the capacity to thrive socially, educationally, and economically.
The work that we've been doing for 5 years together as a team is finally rippling out throughout the city. I truly, truly believe all of us have a piece of the answer, which means our creative solutions will only come from our togetherness.
Our belief is that those that are closest to the challenges are also closest to the solutions.
They are good collaborators. They know how to bring everybody together. They always have a solution to problems.
I think we're going to see some good things in 2025.
Darian is he's such a loving person. He's so gregarious. He's just so full of energy and so full of passion. You have to work a little harder to get to know Yolanda, but that's when you get in with Yolanda, then you know it's like, okay, this is good.
They're definitely a dynamic duo. It's really nice to just see how they interact off of one another, and they always have a positive spirit. Yeah, they're always willing to listen to people and just share space.
We're going to do RBF training right after this. That's 1 to 2.
I think we have a great flow together. We flow. He's more the energy. I'm more behind the scenes. I grew up on the east side of Allentown, went to Deerhoff High School. I'm one of 10. Most of my family are still local.
So I was raised in Allentown, graduated from Deerhoff in the wonderful year of 1989. Best year ever. I'm married to my wife Yolanda, who I met in middle school in 6th grade. We have 4 adult children and 8 grandchildren.
My first impression when I met them and they were actually doing the Cohesion networking, I was loving it. I said, this is something that the neighborhood needs. Organization to bring the neighborhood together.
Cohesion Network is an organization committed to holistic community development. We have a 2-pronged approach to the work that we do. One is youth development, and the other is community engagement.
Most of it is just building connections and connecting neighbors to resources that they weren't aware of, creating solutions.
Our logo is "We is greater than me." We believe in the power of we and the movement of we.
And there are not a lot of organizations, not only in Allentown, in the country, that do work like that.
They're in a position to really be able to advocate for neighbors, which is amazing.
What makes a good neighbor is someone that is friendly, engaged in their neighborhood, and it's simply being aware that you live in a shared space. It's as simple as that.
I would say someone who is friendly and kind, someone who is curious and collaborative, and someone who communicates.
What makes Yolanda and Darian good neighbors is the fact that they are always there for anyone that needs them last minute. If you come and knock on the door or text them or phone call away.
That's the best neighbor you can be, right? Is always being a familiar face for people. You can go to any part of the city and there's always someone yelling on the street saying hi to one of them or the other, which is amazing.
It's just the way that they show up. They're so present when they come into a space, and they're so intentional about honoring every person that's in the room, and that you feel seen by them, and that's what a good neighbor does.
Just a wonderful tribute to the Colberts, and please welcome their good friend Bill Cummings.
Thank you. Good evening. I've had the privilege of knowing Darian and Yolanda for nearly 30 years. And it's an honor to introduce two of the most extraordinary people that I've had the privilege of knowing over the years, and I love them like family. I can honestly say that I've learned more from Darian personally than any other individual I've ever learned from in my life. And it's not just what he's taught me, through his words, but by his actions and inviting me into the space of his life and modeling Things like humility, consistency, and deep integrity. There's no one I know who has the integrity that Darian has. And whether it's public or private, on a platform or in a one-on-one conversation, Darian and Yolanda are the same. They're passionate, they're grounded in reality, and they love their community deeply. And they've been doing this work long before it became an official nonprofit organization. Years ago, I watched as Darian spent his day teaching leadership and job readiness to people who were incarcerated at Northampton County Prison through his role at CareerLink. Then, without missing a beat, he'd get in his car, drive to a school in Allentown or Bethlehem, and lead a character education program for students, middle school, high school, or elementary school students, bringing the same energy, the same presence, the same passion to every classroom, just like he did in the prison. Yolanda is a steady and powerful force. Her fight for justice is not theoretical. It's not just an idea. It's rooted in real people and a deep desire for residents of the Lehigh Valley to live with dignity, freedom, and opportunities that should be accessible to every resident in the community. Which brings us to tonight. The Good Neighbor Awards are given in the spirit of Fred Rogers, as has been said already, who taught us that it is possible to build a better world by showing up for others with love, empathy, and a deep belief in their inherent worth. As I think about Fred Rogers, I'm reminded of an iconic moment on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. I grew up watching Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood religiously. And at a time in 1969, when Black Americans were still barred from many public swimming pools across the country, on a hot summer day, Fred invited a Black man, Officer Clemens, to sit with him side by side at the edge of a wading pool. And we witnessed two men from very different backgrounds soaking their feet in the same water. It was quiet, it was simple, but it was also revolutionary. I've had many similar experiences with Darian and Yolanda over the years, in the 30 years of our friendship, or almost 30, because that's what Darian and Yolanda do. They offer a refreshing pool of water on a hot day. They make space, they share life, they bring hope. And if you're looking for leaders to shape a more compassionate and just Lehigh Valley, if you're looking to support people who are helping to create transformation that starts with love and builds a deep sense of community with integrity, you have found them in Darian and Yolanda Colbert and the work of Cohesion Network. And with that in mind, please join me in celebrating two truly good neighbors, Darian and Yolanda Colbert.
So that jacked me up a little bit, so I'm gonna take a deep breath, because that's my boy. It's my best friend. So good evening, everyone. We're deeply honored and super grateful to receive the Fred Rogers Good Neighbor Award. While Yolanda and I are accepting this recognition, we do so on behalf of a whole community of neighbors, leaders, and partners who make this work real every single day. This award doesn't belong to us. It belongs to everyone committed to the good work of neighboring. Napoleon Hill said in his book, Law of Success, deposited in every human soul is the seed of a great future. But that seed will not germinate, much less grow, except through the rendering of useful service. Good neighboring is useful service. So we believe that people are the greatest asset on planet Earth. I'm gonna say that again, because that's what we really believe. We believe people are the greatest asset on planet Earth. And through service, connection, and shared effort, we unlock the potential that already exists within our neighborhoods. We help each other rise. We remind one another that no matter our circumstances, we matter and we have something to contribute. At Cohesion, we don't just see problems to solve, we see people to empower. We believe that lasting change happens not when programs are handed down, but when relationships are built up. That's how we grow stronger together from the inside out. The work of community engagement isn't flashy. It moves in inches and not miles. It's not just about programs and events. It's about trust. And trust moves at the speed of relationship. We've seen the power of what happens when neighbors become leaders, when schools become safer spaces, when kids begin to see themselves differently because someone believed in them. That kind of change doesn't happen from the top down. It happens on porches, in classrooms, on sidewalks, and at kitchen tables. But if inches are going to turn into miles, we need others to walk with us. So we want to invite you in to this great movement of we. Help us cultivate a region where every neighborhood can thrive, where leadership rises from within, and when being a good neighbor isn't the exception, it's the norm. We is truly greater than me.
Makes you want to say amen.
She got jokes.
Thank you. As we accept this award, I want to pause and recognize the people and partners who walk alongside us. We don't do this work in isolation. We do it in the spirit of being good neighbors. So tonight we honor the residents of the Franklin Park and the 1st and 6th Ward neighborhoods who lead with lived wisdom and resilience. The Leonard Parker Poole Institute for Health for believing in community-centered change and investing in relationships. Our board members and our friends who show up and become family, become like family. And there are a few individuals we want to highlight by name. Carol Gonzalez from the Franklin Park neighborhood, who boldly and consistently models what it means to be a good neighbor. And Yamlet Gomez from the 1st and 6th Wards neighborhood group, who always shows up, speaks up for what's right. Dr. Samantha Schock, whose partnership and encouragement at the Poole Institute for Health have meant the world to us. Sherry Binder and Angela Moyer-Walter, two visionary women who lead with both strength and compassion through Ripple Inc. and Ripple Church. Laura Cole, Avery Daniels, and Anna Tiburcio from the City of Allentown's Love Your Block team. Your energy helps move this work forward. Jenna Azar, our backbone. Thank you for your clarity, commitment, and care. Bill Cummings, for being there since day one and never letting go of the vision and never letting us quit when things got hard. Teresa Diaz, for leading in ways that allowed us to grow and take root. And my mom, who's here, Santa Diaz, and the entire Diaz family for believing in us. Your continued love is our foundation. Couldn't do without you. And lastly, we're also grateful to PBS 39 and the Good Neighbor Award team for lifting up this work. Lucia and Brittany, you've been so thoughtful every step of the way. And Tinku, thank you for truly seeing the heart of this mission. Thank you again for being here. Come see us at our table, and I promise I'm not that hard to get to know. After the program, we would love to connect with you. Thank you for this honor.
Absolutely wonderful. And I think something really neat about, just a little side note about their video that we saw, the meeting space that we saw the Colberts in was the house that Darian grew up in with his brother and his mother, and they also raised their children in that house as well, Darian and Yolanda, and now it's become a meeting space for the community. So just a really neat side note. One more round of applause for the Colberts, please. Now, earlier in our program, you heard from our team and you heard from our board. Now see what our plan to be more of a community hub looks like in action. Let's now hear from our community partners, organizations whose missions we help amplify every day.
At the really basic foundation of it is going to be the inclusivity of it all, right? It's acknowledging the fact that, say, here in the Lehigh Valley, we have a large Hispanic Latino population, and it's making it known that, you know, we are seen and we are heard, and PBS is a partner in that and getting the messaging out.
For organizations like ours, you know, we don't have a lot of money either, and so it's always nice when we can come in and utilize the facilities. That has helped a great deal
At this time when public television is under attack in America, we are extraordinarily grateful for the role you play in building community and building kindness within our city, and I can't say thank you enough.
Lehigh Valley Public Media has been there to lead reading events for kids and has been there to host debates for older kids. But broadly speaking, Lehigh Valley Public Media is a real asset to Allentown and the residents of Allentown and to the entire community of the Lehigh Valley.
PBS is great at connecting people. We know if one of our events is announced on the air that it's going to be well attended. We know that having that reach to that audience, to those kids and families is super important.
Lehigh Valley Public Media, whether it be TV, digital, it brings us together. We are a Lehigh Valley. We're not Allentown, Bethlehem, and Easton anymore. We're a Lehigh Valley region.
Well, I think we have a lot of the same goals. We really want to be inviting to families and people within the community, bringing new people in. We really care about education and making education fun.
They are trusted and fact-based organizations. So it is important for us to have that partnership and important for all nonprofit agencies to partner with public media. It's an organization that truly believes in just getting positive information that's going to help people out into the community.
And we thank everybody who joined us for that video. These conversations show that Lehigh Valley Public Media is not just a broadcaster, it's a collaborator, an amplifier, and a trusted ally in the community. And please welcome now Erin Martin Medina, the principal of Donegan Elementary School in Bethlehem, and Dawn Godshaw, the executive director of Community Action Lehigh Valley, to talk a little bit more about our partnerships with the community entities that we have and how we're going to continue to build these relationships as we strengthen our strategic direction. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Wonderful. So, Dawn, I'll have you start. If you could just talk a little bit about some of the ways that Lehigh Valley Public Media has collaborated with Community Action over the years to not only connect with the community, but work as a community hub together.
Sure. Community Action Lehigh Valley is a large nonprofit that has 12 different programs underneath it. And so I have no elevator pitch. I can't say any of it within 2 minutes. So I will tell you about some of the programs that you guys have partnered with us. A lot of people have heard of our 6th Street Shelter, which is the largest family homeless shelter in the region. We have hundreds of people that come through our homeless shelter a year, a lot of them being children. And unfortunately, people don't always look at the children and what their needs are. They're just sort of a part that goes with their parents who are somehow needing our services. And, you know, PBS came in and not only gave books, but they gave supplies to the kids at the shelter to help them to have a good experience. They're already in a place that they're not familiar with, so to have books and supplies and things that gave them joy and made them happy was an awesome part of what you guys did for us. Another something that just recently happened was we're an anti-poverty organization, and so we want to help people get out of their circumstances. We run a program called Generation Next, and Generation Next is a college access program that helps kids to explore, high school students to explore what they want to do when they finally graduate. And so you invited them here through one of your programs. It's called a Good News Tour, and they sat at the studio desk and did mock newscasts and really got involved to a point where many of them now want to be in the media. So that was an awesome thing that you guys were able to do for them.
Sure, and as you're talking about many of these things, I know that I personally have covered some of these programs for LehighValleyNews.com, so I think it just shows how multifaceted the organization can be, whether it's giving books or covering a wonderful event that you folks are doing. I'd like to bring Erin into this conversation because not only are we covering and following some of the great things that Community Action does, but Lehigh Valley Public Media is getting into the schools, specifically, you know, the ones that surround us. Your school we've worked with on a number number of different initiatives. And so if you could share some of those initiatives and the ways that we've collaborated, that would be wonderful.
Yes, thank you. So Dunnigan is a community school, and so we rely on our partnerships and our neighbors in order to help us to meet our goals. And there are so many ways in which the PBS has supported us. One is just presence and engagement at many of our school events, starting in the summer with our Southside Stride. We were given smart sacks for every one of our incoming kindergartners. So as we knocked on doors and welcomed our students to our school in the neighborhoods, we were able to provide them with smart sacks through PBS. At open house and at our kindergarten welcoming day, we always have PBS hosting a table and providing resources and materials to our students and our families there. We have programming, during the day programming and summer programming as well. We're lucky to have enrichment opportunities through PBS that are literacy based, and we have an after school program during the school year that is a fan favorite at Dunnigan. It's a math program called Crazy Eights. And we have kids who they're knocking down our door asking us to be in it year after year. So it builds a conceptual understanding of math, and it also, our kids are having fun while they're doing math, and they're really building a confidence that we see translate over into the classroom as well.
I met some of those kids. They didn't even realize they were doing math.
They didn't. They're having, yeah.
They said, "This is math," because they got to play such fun games. It was really neat to witness. And so, Erin, what are some of the ways we can continue to work together with organizations, whether it be school-based programs, that kind of thing? What are some of the ways we can continue to serve the community as a community hub?
Well, one way, this year we had an educational field trip for our student leaders in 5th grade. They were able to come to the TV studio, and they were able to actually create and produce their own commercial for our Kindness Grams initiative. It put our in-school news crew productions to shame that I am responsible for. So we've been in talks about, how PBS can continue to support us and help to kind of build our own news crew productions at the building level. So it's also it gave our kids an opportunity to get behind the scenes and see, what it's like to produce a commercial, to make a TV production. It's a career development opportunity for our kids as well, opening up different, ideas and opportunities for them. So that is one way in which we're looking forward to continuing to work with.
Wonderful.
With
Thank
you all,
you
yes.
so much. Thank you, Erin. And Dawn, I would ask you the same question. How would you like to see us move forward, whether it be working with Community Action or other community entities, to build that community hub and let people know that we are here for them?
Well, one of the things that you've already done was you gave the Good Neighbor Award to our Second Harvest Food Bank a few years ago, who is currently serving about feeding 100,000 people a month. And so it's important that you guys continue to acknowledge that work in the community. We're trying to help the community, and the things that you're doing to expand the minds of kids through your programming and your documentaries is absolutely awesome, and we really appreciate it. And I just wanted to say all of the awardees tonight, I know them. I love them. They are definitely worthy of the awards that they're receiving tonight. I'm just grateful that you're acknowledging the people who are out there in the community helping their neighbors.
Wonderful. It's our pleasure. We're happy to have you ladies, and of course our recipients as well. Thank you so much for shedding some light on this, and we look forward to working together in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now we'd like to take a moment and address kind of an elephant in the room: funding in the current political environment. A recent LehighValleyNews.com article details a clawback of federal funds for Ready to Learn, which is one of the programs that is similar to some of the programs you've just heard. It's a nationwide program providing research-backed educational programming to help children enter kindergarten prepared to achieve. Now, this sudden removal of $25,000 meant our education department would no longer be able to provide critical summer enrichment programming for nearly 1,000 children this summer. But I am happy to announce that one reader of LehighValleyNews.com read that article, saw the need, and acted to connect the Garrigan Foundation overnight to our education director. That overnight connection with the foundation, it provided the funds to keep that program running this summer. We have that reader, Dr. Audrey Chase, and that funder, Dr. Scott Garrigan, here tonight. Please stand so we can give you the big thank you that you deserve. And Dr. Garrigan, please come up to the stage if you'd like to say a few remarks.
Thank you. I don't have to tell this group anything about community, because that's why you're here. 50 years ago, when as a classroom teacher in the Lehigh Valley, the only external resource I had available was Channel 39 from my classroom. And I've been respectful of the work that is done here for children ever since, and it has grown. The idea that our current rough funding period has threatened 1,000 local children, needy children, with an interruption to their ability to learn to read was something that we couldn't take. And I read the article 2 hours and I thought, wow, that's something that maybe we can help with. Unbidden, my colleague and trustee, Audrey, called me and said, "Did you read the article?" I said, "Yep." She said, "What do you think?" That was all it took. And within 1 week, the funds were from us to here. 80 years ago, in a European attic, a young teenage girl wrote in her diary, "No one ever became poor by giving." That girl was Anne Frank. That speaks to the heart of all of us. Giving is way more satisfactory than receiving, which you each know. An incident really brought that home to me. Around 2019, I was in a conference of schools in the Middle East, and the keynote speaker was an Arabic fellow who ran a nonprofit for running a school for underprivileged high school kids in London. That's a tough group to deal with. And he was spending his own personal future and fortune to fund them. But on a trip to the Middle East, to his native Lebanon, I believe, that was a time when Syria and India and Israel were fighting in Lebanon. And there was a hospital in the middle of things that was serving all of the injured people, and it didn't have the resources for that. He paid a visit to the hospital unannounced, met with the director, and asked, "Tell me about your situation." The hospital director said, we can't do it. We don't have the funds. He asked, "What do you need?" The response was $250,000. The man pulled out a checkbook, wrote the check, and that was solved that quickly. Those of us with means know what we can do. The community relies on it. You know that it takes not only a village, but a community to raise a child, especially a child in need. Thank you.
Thank you again, Dr. Garrigan. But the crisis, it's not over. Federal funding for programs like this, Ready to Learn, and for public media as a whole are at risk, and we need your help. One generous individual is keeping education programming alive this summer. Imagine what an entire room of inspired people could do. There are QR codes in your programs this evening. If you have this right on your chair here, right on the back. QR codes right there and throughout the building as well. And we encourage you to consider making a contribution to your public media station right now. And as we continue our program, our final honoree is an equity attorney with Norris McLaughlin, PA. Born and raised in Allentown, she has been a steadfast PBS 39 neighbor since 1977 as a contestant on Scholastic Scrimmage. Her consistent support of education and the arts has lifted many over the course of her life.
How would we like to be treated? I find in life that's kind of the question I ask myself.
My first impression was that she was intelligent, she was genteel, she was unpretentious, very friendly, and fun.
When I first met Judy, she was unlike any person that I ever met. She was curious and caring and thoughtful and very humble while being incredibly wise and really carried herself in a way that I just had so much respect for her so early on.
She is well known for her big-heartedness as well.
I think we're all better people when we view theater. We learn about others' life experiences and challenges in our world that might have happened a few centuries ago or might happen in 100 years, and thinking about how we live our lives and how we should.
I've known Judy since 2022 when I was interviewing and took the job as the artistic director at Pennsylvania Shakespeare Festival. Judy was the chair of our board of directors.
It's not all about Shakespeare. There are any number of musicals, modern, contemporary drama, all kinds of things, children's programming, just wonderful.
Judy is connected to the Lehigh Valley in a broad way and in a deep way, because she has been connected with the Symphony Orchestra, with the Allentown Art Museum, with many children's organizations, with the colleges and universities, for example, Cedar Crest College, DeSales University, Muhlenberg College. And one of the things that makes her very sought after is the fact that she's a lawyer.
Perhaps the most exciting aspect of community service is the joy that it brings the person doing the community service. The joy in giving, the joy in making this wonderful place we all share better.
Judy has been a part of this valley since she was a child. I think you could look back at her parents' business. I mean, she has deep, deep roots here in the valley. So when Judy's thinking about how to be involved with the valley, she takes it personally because it is a part of her personal history.
The Lehigh Valley Special. It's an extraordinary place that boasts big city sophistication in the business world, in the world of arts, entertainment, all kinds of things, but has a small town feel.
I'll use 4 words for Judy Harris: compassionate, curious, connected, and cool. Judy Harris has an amazing sense of style that she comports herself with such poise, such intelligence, that when she's in the room, you know that that's a person that you want to get to know. And what's really great about Judy is she wants to get to know you too. She listens, she's curious about your life, your story, and she also thinks about how can she connect you to somebody else that can help your organization or help you personally. It's her connections and her curiosity about other people and her kindness that really make her such a great neighbor.
A good neighbor is someone who acts in such a way that he or she would want to be treated. The golden rule.
Just a lovely tribute. And before we bring Judy on stage, we now have a few words from Judy's longtime colleague and friend and past Good Neighbor Award recipient, Lee Butz.
Judy Harris, you are the epitome of a good neighbor. And your neighborhood includes our entire community. I'm always amazed at the number of initiatives that you are involved with that help make our community so much better for everyone. Dolly and I are so proud to be your friends and to be a part of your neighborhood. Congratulations, Judy.
Yes, a big congratulations, Judy.
Hello, friends. Thank you. Thank you to those of you who have brought us together this evening, the most special of venues, the Univest Public Media Center, home to PBS 39, WLVR 91.3, and LehighValleyNews.com. I extend my heartfelt thanks to the Gala Committee chaired by Dr. Karen Walton and Joe Walton. Special and profuse thanks to Lucia and the amazing staff at Lehigh Valley PBS, including Lily, Deja, and Brittany, among many others. And my kudos and thanks to Lex and Board Chair Mike Keim and the esteemed board members of Lehigh Valley PBS. Sincere thanks to members of my family here to support me tonight, my husband, Jack Meidlow, my stepmother and cousin. Yes, we do keep things in the family, in my family. Barbara Schreiber-Harris, and my partners, Dolores Laputka, Graham Simmons, and Barbara Hollenbach. I'm just so proud to be associated with you. Bravi to my fellow impressive honorees, Eileen Wood and Darian and Yolanda of the Cohesion Network. Each of the three of you is impressive and dedicated to enhancing our community in numerous and important ways. Thank you for continuing to devote your time and your talents and other resources to these causes. When I looked around the Univest Center this evening and looking around this room, I count scores of people whom I consider not only friends, but mentors, as well as good neighbors. Thanks go to each of you for serving as leaders and role models to each of us. I have learned and continue to learn much from each of you in working with you both professionally and in the community on boards and other initiatives. I think each of you will agree that we live in a unique and special place called the Lehigh Valley. Every day of my work and life here, I marvel more than once at the actions of others around me made without intention of personal gain to improve the lives of others in our community. And PBS 39 is an important component of the excellent quality of life here, and it has been for as long as I can remember. Lehigh Valley PBS has had a profound impact on my education and my personal growth from the age of 5, and that was a long time ago. I remember scheduled times, both at Muhlenberg and Moser Elementary Schools, when we routinely gathered to watch certain PBS shows, among them Science Land and Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Our valley-wide junior high school Spanish poetry recitation contest culminated in the finalist appearance on the program Mundo Hispano, which was very exciting. Later on in high school, the Scholastic Scrimmage program motivated many of us to step up our pleasure reading, math skills, and quick recall techniques before we competed for a place on the team. And years later, as a young lawyer, volunteering with our Lehigh County Bar Association on the telephone bank during Pledge Week here, actually up on the hill before the move, was very exciting. PBS 39 has proven an invaluable tool for learning in factual, balanced, fascinating, global, and fun ways throughout my life that have encouraged me to grasp for goals I never thought possible. I imagine that those of you here this evening agree with me, or you would not be here this evening. In a current world so desperately in need of greater assurance of funding for education and opportunities for growth of not only our youth, but people of all ages and all circumstances, I urge each of you to be a good neighbor and to support Lehigh Valley Public Media, this ongoing treasure here in our Lehigh Valley.
Thank you.
And as mentioned, please welcome our presenting sponsor and chair of the Good Neighbor Awards Committee, who is herself a past Good Neighbor Award recipient over there wearing her red sweater, Dr. Karen Walton and her husband, Joe. They're going to come up and introduce a special celebration, a milestone year, 50 seasons of Scholastic Scrimmage.
From that video, you realize I do have a voice, but not tonight. I will tell you about it. My name is Karen Walton, and I hosted Scholastic Scrimmage for 20 years. Yesterday, I awakened with a slight cold, but no voice. Those of you who know me or have watched me on Scholastic Scrimmage know that I never lose my voice, and I am never at a loss for words. I hosted 640 shows, and I wrote over 2,000 mathematics questions. I loved the Scholastic Scrimmage students, the best and brightest in the Lehigh Valley. Over those 20 years, only one of the 640 shows had to be rescheduled because I had a cold. Concurrently, I was provost of DeSales University, actually for 25 years. Until noon today, my husband was going to read my script, but he, first of all, he's loved the fact that I haven't opened my mouth for a day and a half. Loved it. Okay, so this is going to be brief, but if I stop in the middle of it, Joe will continue. And I want to tell you, after it's over, I'm going to start talking again. Sweetheart, yes. But I couldn't bear to miss the opportunity to thank the wonderful PBS staff and those of you who watched Scholastic Scrimmage. In particular, I'd like to thank Javier, Brittany, and Lucia. Lucia, really, for arranging all of this magnificent production. Thank you very much, the three of you. From Shakespeare's Twelfth Night, I can no other answer make, but thanks and thanks and ever thanks. I apologize to you for making you suffer through this presentation with this voice. You might remember me from the Good Neighbor Awards dinner last year when I stood on the stage with our current host, David Graff. I announced we would celebrate Scholastic Scrimmage 50th anniversary in 2025. The celebration is underway. Scholastic Scrimmage recently concluded taping its 50th consecutive season. It is the longest-running academic quiz program in Pennsylvania. And it is the longest-running PBS 39 show. Make sure that you tune in to the championship contest in June. Thank you, Scholastic Scrimmage title sponsor, Temple St. Luke's School of Medicine, which has been so supportive of the program, especially this year. Thanks also to PBL and the Charles F. Hoch Foundation for their generous support of Scholastic Scrimmage. Over the past year, I've been working with the PBS 39 team and my fellow anniversary committee members, David Graff, Judy Harris, and I think Karen Boxam is back in the back, and Kathleen Riley on our reunion activities. As part of that celebration, we're in the process of producing the Scholastic Scrimmage 50th Anniversary documentary. We've identified over 1,000 competitors, coaches, judges, and parents. The PBS 39 production department has taped dozens of interviews, sourced archival footage, and is in the final stages of producing the documentary. I hope you join us on June 21st right here in Studio A for the premiere of the Scholastic Scrimmage 50th anniversary. Invitations are available in Studio B where Scrimmage is taped. Before I do that, though, I want to ask a question. Is there anyone here in this audience who has met and shaken the hands of Mr. Rogers? Hi, how many of you? I'm looking back at someone who did not raise his hand. When I was in a bank in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, at the time I was teaching at Seton Hill College, I was in the bank, and my little, almost 3-year-old was grabbing Mummy's skirt and said, "Mummy, there's Mr. Rogers." And I said, "Oh, that's all right, sweetheart, thank you." And then he grabbed it again and he said, "Mummy, that's Mr. Rogers." And Mr. Rogers shook his hand in my hand. Will that 3-year-old please stand up? My baby is now an interventional cardiologist, and his lovely wife is Jill Walton. I'm thrilled to announce we have a brief sneak peek of the documentary to show you right now. I haven't seen it yet. I'm anxious. Let's take a look, but first of all, I want to thank my sweetheart for agreeing to read this, and I made it the whole way. And the holiday's over, Joe. I'm coming back. Thank you.
What imaginary line of latitude defines
What legendary lover?
In what Olympic event? Saucon Valley.
Diode.
A diode is correct.
For half a century, Scholastic Scrimmage has rivaled the most exciting athletic games for competition and down-to-the-wire championships.
Whitehall, congratulations. You are on to the final with 320 points. You have a role to fill, and you don't want to let anyone down.
The students are fabulous.
Well, I'm always amazed by how much the kids know.
I'm always nervous when I go on the set because it's a one and done.
Probably one of the more nerve-wracking experiences of my life. I was 14. I was the only girl on the team at the time, maybe the only girl on the stage.
High school students from across the region challenge each other in the spirit of curiosity and intellect.
Toss-up in algebra, multiple choice. The product
This energy, this rivalry, this joyous celebration of knowledge and strategy, this is the enduring legacy of Scholastic Scrimmage.
It's bound to be a really fun celebration just like this one, and we hope you'll join us for the festivities in June for the 50 years of Scholastic Scrimmage. And speaking of future events, as we look towards 2026, we have some fun in store for everyone as we commemorate our country's 250th anniversary. In 2025 and 2026, Lehigh Valley Public Media is proud to be the official media partner of Lehigh Valley 250, an organization coordinating our region's activities. You'll have the opportunity to join us for a powerful lineup of community events, exhibitions, and stories that reflect on our shared history and future. Stay connected with in-depth historical reporting all year long at LehighValleyNews.com, and don't miss exclusive member opportunities throughout 2026. Together, let's explore 250 years of America right here in the heart of the Lehigh Valley. And we're almost at the end of our show, but the night is far from over. As we wrap up, we'll be transitioning this space that we're in right now into our Good Neighbor Open House. So we ask that you please exit the studio when prompted so we can transform this room into an experience space just for all of you. And we have our amazing PBS 39 Artist of the Month who's walking through the crowd right now in her 3D printed Iron Man suit. She's going to be leading the way out of the studio and onto our other evening experiences. She created this suit herself, 3D printed it, and wired it. It moves electronically as well. So you'll be able to speak with her in just a couple minutes. She'll walk out there. You'll hear our band, the Patrick Curson Trio, start up as soon as she exits. And we thank Just Born Quality Confections, our music sponsor for the evening. And tonight, during a self-guided tour, we ask you to share your why with all of us. Without you, we wouldn't be able to do what we do best. So say hello to our podcast sponsor, BSI Corporate Benefits, tonight, and record why you support public media. In our podcast studio, we're proud to provide space for our partners to record programs like BSI's Stretching on Tuesdays, Boundless with Good Shepherd, and we produce our own political pulse and insights. So we want you to share your story. What does public media mean to all of you? Every corner of this space is going to tell a story this evening, so please share yours. To conclude this portion of the evening, we congratulate our 2025 Good Neighbor Award recipients again. Thank you all for being here. Once again, this work, these programs, and these stories, they're only possible because of all of you. Funding challenges remain, and our ability to serve, educate, and inspire relies on community support now more than ever. There are opportunities to give throughout the building tonight, and we thank you for helping us remain a trusted source of light, learning, and connection. Now, let's continue to build a stronger, kinder, and more connected Lehigh Valley together. Have a wonderful evening, and we will see you at the open house.